Hello everybody and welcome back to Odin's movie blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope we're doing well, and today we have more news about, that's right, hashtag release the Snyder Cut, because apparently a new rumor is being floated around, and that is that a teaser for the Snyder Cut of Justice League is coming to HBO Max at launch. Now, whether or not this rumor is true or not, it's really hard to say at this point in time. I'm still of the mindset, personally, that this cut does not actually exist. I know he showed a photo of the film reels. I know that he's, offhand mentioned it. I understand these concepts. Here's the problem, though, is that when the film itself was actually being produced, he was not able to finish the film as he saw fit. He was not able to film the shots that were needed to complete his vision of the film either. And so therefore, it is literally impossible for there to be a Snyder Cut version of this movie, because there are so many things that were never actually fully completed. And so I don't really know exactly what version he was showing in those film reels. I'm assuming, in my mind, that he's trying to tease people and trying to get people excited and demand it and want it. Again, it's kind of like a marketing tactic where he would say, you know what, maybe I could actually go back and maybe, play around with some stuff and put a version out there that's not fully complete, but is more in line with the vision that I have. Or at the very least, take the version and the film scenes that we had from Justice League and then recut it in my own personal vision. That would be pretty much the closest thing that I could ever imagine we would ever get to an actual hashtag Snyder Cut. But I'm still of the mindset that it really does not matter what Zack Snyder does, because in my mind, in my opinion, it would not fix any of the major issues that had been in pretty much every single Zack Snyder DCEU film, whether it's Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, or Justice League. All of those films had so many different faults to them, and none of them really have aged well in my mind. And I'm sure all the Zack Snyder fanboys are going to attack me in the comment section, but hey, I've pretty much gotten used to that at this point in time. But let's go ahead and dive into this rumor here by JB Augustin over at Bounding Into Comics. And so as a sneak peek teaser is said to be coming to HBO Max to accompany and promote the rumored release of the Snyder Cut of Justice League on the Warner Media streaming service when it launches May 27th. Joe Bateman, identified as an Air Force veteran who worked in radio, posted Tuesday the following in the BVS allegory hashtag release the Snyder Cut Facebook group. HBO, WB, AT&T, DC, and Time Warner are hoping that all the hype will put HBO Max in a media frenzy, ensuring that its launch has a successful amount of subscribers and publicity. Then shortly thereafter, they plan on releasing the Snyder Cut. Now, this sounds very precarious to me. It doesn't sound like it's coming from any type of official source. Again, that's why I always love Bounding, because they always make clear this is definitely in rumor territory. But with that being said, this is probably one of the, at least based on just the criteria that we've just laid out, seems to be the least believable of the rumors that have been put forward previously by this and other sites. It's added that the teaser will be a short video of behind-the-scenes footage about Zack's putting his project together, along with a few teasers. Maybe there will be stuff from his Vero in there as well. What's more, a deluxe edition of Crisis on Infinite Earths graphic novel tying into the CW crossover is planned. It will have new material that expands on the subplot surrounding Ezra Miller's cameo and explains how the Snyder movies fit in or complicate things. So this is going into that Crisis on Infinite Earths stuff. Let's see if we have anything else on the Snyder Cut. Does not seem. Everything else is dealing with Harley Quinn, is dealing with a couple other things there. Bateman also claims Snyder hit pause on Netflix Army of the Dead. All right, so yeah, it looks very clear here that there is nothing more to really be said about the Snyder Cut except for this one random reference made in a Facebook post by someone that is an Air Force veteran and worked in radio. So I would say take this rumor with a very large grain of salt. And as I mentioned before, if this is really the only thing that we have to go off of, and really, to be honest, these are the only things that we have. We have tiny little breadcrumbs that people try and say, ooh, this means it must be real, it must be true. You know, when Zack Snyder posted that photo of those film reels, and everyone was like, oh, it's proof, there it is, the Snyder Cut exists. All I saw was a bunch of footage. Right? All I saw was a bunch of footage. And so in my mind, all I saw was a guy who was trying to get people hyped, was trying to get people back interested in him and his projects so that he could either eventually release something that he would call the Snyder Cut. Because honestly, what I think is probably going to happen is, let's say this does happen. Let's say HBO Max says, all right, let's go ahead and put a teaser trailer out for a supposed Snyder Cut. And then Zack Snyder puts his name on a project, and all that it is a bunch of footage from the original movie that has now been recut in his own image, with maybe some scenes being taken out, the ones that were, pretty much confirmed to have been directed specifically by Joss Whedon, and just only Zack Snyder stuff's in there. But as far as the plans that he had for the characters, as far as the ideas that he had for the movie, none of that stuff, in my mind, could possibly have been there because, as I mentioned, he quit the project because of personal issues, which means he could not actually finish the vision that he had for the movie. We also know that the studio has been involved in these projects for a very long time too, and so to him, for him or for anyone else in my mind to lead people on and say, oh my gosh, there's this awesome super deluxe edition of the Snyder Cut that's going to come out, it's going to fix all the issues, I just think is complete bullcrap, because all they can really go off of is stuff that's already been filmed, and all that he can really do is recut it in a different way to tell a different story. Now, trust me, I understand. A story can definitely be remade in the editing room. That is something that is completely possible. But seeing that this is the same guy that made Batman v Superman, which in my mind is one of the worst films, superhero films ever made, at least for the big screen in either the official MCU or DCEU. Now, again, there's definitely a couple of worse MCU films in my mind, or at least ones that are on par with his movies. But I'm sorry, guys. It's just, I have no real reason to be excited for this. I've always been on team #release a Snyder Cut just because I want something to be released for them to claim that it's a Snyder Cut just so that everyone will shut the hell up about this. Like, seriously, this is one of those things that I care so little about, because no matter how much extra footage you put in and no matter how much you recut it, as long as Zack Snyder is the one behind the camera and is the one that's supposedly fixing the issues, there's still going to be problems, and it's still not going to be great. I cannot think personally of a single Zack Snyder movie that has held up that I would actually want to go back and rewatch. And that goes even to movies like 300, which I loved at the time and was a huge fan of for a long time. And then I rewatched it years later and realized, oh man, a lot of these visual effects don't really hold up all that much. This film style doesn't really hold up all that much. And you start to notice some of the errors, and you start to notice some of the issues with the filming, and you start to realize, oh, it's actually kind of boring. In fact, I fell asleep one of the last times I tried to watch that movie. And so, again, I'm sure I'm going to get totally eviscerated in the comment section, especially like people like RK Outpost, Ryan Kennel, who, again, is an awesome and amazing guy. His one major flaw is that he's a Zack Snyder fanboy. What are your thoughts about this? Do you think that we're actually going to get a teaser? Again, to me, the source is pretty dubious here. Again, a Facebook group, an Air Force veteran. Again, not to try and say that the dude's lying, it just doesn't really seem like a very reliable source. Now, if it turns out to be true, then hey, kudos to you, good sir. But as I mentioned before, even if there is a supposed trailer or a teaser for HBO Max, and I do agree, it absolutely would be a great marketing scheme, because you're going to have a lot of Zack Snyder fanboys out there, and even DCU fanboys out there that are going to go freaking crazy over this, and fangirls, and be like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait for this to come out. And then people like me are going to say, finally, something that's called the Snyder Cut's going to come out. But let's at least get back onto the ground here. Because unless he's able to get these actors back in and refilm and reshoot and shoot scenes and again, create new footage, which I highly doubt Warner Brothers would ever actually want to do, because let's remember, the Justice League movie that they made only made around $650+ million, and therefore was a huge financial loss for them. So I don't think they would really want to spend more money to put a movie onto their streaming service. And yeah, they might get those subscriptions up, but yeah, it seems very dubious at that. But let me know your thoughts about this and all the things talked about in the comment section below. Cannot wait to read those hate comments. If you like this video, smash that like button, because you know we got some Zack Snyder fanboys, trolls that are going to be going after this video, and that's okay, because that's just confirming everything else that I've ever thought about this specific guy's vision. Let me know your thoughts about this and everything. Talk about in the comment section below. If you like this video, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. You're all amazing and beautiful people. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless. And now a huge shout out to my May Patreon and Subscribe Star members: Albertus Magnus, Animation Commentator Brian P, Dion, Divex, Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Weeder Dog Clan, Harold Francis, the Hunker Chunker Funker Monkey, Inflamed Wood, It's a Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jeffrey Toon, Kenneth Camiel, Lady T, Laura Story, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mike Jackson, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, Orange Hat Reviews, Outpost Dyer, Out of Step with Reality, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, Tina Bojan, The DJD Show, and Tina B. Thank you all for being my Patreon members, and a shout out to my Subscribe Star peeps: John B, Perpetual Punster, Robert Revo, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, G2 Cool 99, Darkstar 57, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., US 888209 Fast, Dean Heiss, Harold Francis, J. Rod the Beer Guru, Nevadon G. Adams, and ZK Man. And a special shout out to David Bobrizik and Edgardo Martinez. I'm going to leave that pause there just in case anyone decides to join for the month of May, because you can indeed join on Patreon or Subscribestar at any time this month to be eligible for any of the perks. They include access to an exclusive podcast that I do with John, the Flick Pick of John Flickinger's fame, so make sure you go ahead and check that out at the $10 and up level. Also, if you Subscribestar or Patreon at $5 or up, you have access to exclusive giveaways of 4K movies, digital films, and a bunch of other stuff in between as well. And if anything, you could at least give just anything that you really want to help support the channel, and it would really help me out a lot. It keeps the lights on, makes me able to continue to do this kind of stuff. So anything you possibly give, check out some more information in the description of the Patreon, Subscribestar, and of course YouTube membership links as well. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless.